the world is to be won to Christ, it's got to be won through the church that's preaching the buck-naked truth. It's going to take preaching the gospel. When Philip went to Samaria, he didn't preach theory. He didn't preach tradition. He didn't preach organization. He did not preach denomination. No, he didn't. The Bible said he preached Christ till unclean spirits came leaping out of folks. He preached the devil out of the folks. He preached him. Simon the sorcerer had him mesmerized. He had chanted them. He had charmed them and cast a spell on them. But Philip, with the power of God, can I tell you something? If we preach raw gospel, it's powerful enough to save the sinner. But here's our trouble. We mix it with theory. We mix it with tradition. We mix it with what we think and what we heard. But God said, give him the buck-naked truth with no clothes on. For it pleased God by the foolishness of preaching to save them that believe. Yeah. There is a generation that curse their father. That is to say, they dishonor their father and does not bless their mother. Ungrateful. Ungrateful for the mother. Children wouldn't even know curse words if they didn't hear them out your mouth or over the television. But they come out of grown folks' mouth. There's a generation that's pure, number 12, in their own eyes. In other words, you've got a self-righteous generation that feel they just right. If I don't want to go to school, that's my business. If I want to get up, that's my business. And yet is not washed from their filthiness. There is a generation, oh, how lofty are their eyes. You'd be surprised of the spirit of pride that's in young folks. My God, you were glad to get something to wear. You were glad for hand-me-downs. You were glad hand-me-down wearing one another's shoes, putting cotton in the toe to keep the shoe from sliding off, putting cardboard at the bottom of the shoe to keep from glass cutting your feet. You were glad. Like I say, I wore patent leather shoes many days. But let's set the record straight with patent leather. I'm not talking about them shiny shoes. Patent leather when the sole was separated from the shoe. And when you walk down the street, the leather, the sole was patent on the sidewalk. And as you walk, it was saying, patent leather, patent leather, patent leather. That's what I'm talking about. I'm familiar with patent leather. You've got youth today. If you don't spend $75 to $100 to get them tennis, and mama, that ain't the style now. And I keep telling folk, look like the youth is going through a raggedy contest to find out who could look the raggediest. More holes in their Levi's and everything, just looking raggedy, and dyed clothes spotted with bleach and everything. Oh, how lofty are their eyes, and their eyelids are lifted up. If you don't get them nothing that's in style now, they ain't gonna wear it. And you think you smart cause you bought him something. I know he gonna like this. This gonna knock him dead. But youth is under peer pressure now. You say, where would it all end? I'm gonna tell you, it's not gonna end at the White House. It's not gonna end at the White House. It's gonna have to end with God's people praying, humbling themselves, and seeking God's face, and turning from their wicked ways. That God will hear from heaven and forgive the sin and heal the land. When you're filled with the Holy Ghost, there's boldness that goes with it. These are the days we've got to have a God-given, Spirit-filled, sanctified, Holy Ghost boldness now. I mean, let the devil know whose side you're on. and stop being diplomatic and a statesman and between here and I'm on your side and on your side. Everybody's not going to like you when you take a stand for God. When you walk with God, everybody's not going to speak well of you. And then there is a drunkenness. Oh, y'all don't want to go with me. I can't get a bit of help around here. There's drunkenness. You say, well, Reverend, now you're getting beside yourself. But drunkenness goes with being filled. Because on the day of Pentecost, they thought they were drunk. Well, why would they think they were drunk if they were not staggering? It's all right to stagger long as it's under the power of God. It's all right to stagger long as it's under the Spirit. Now, people feel when you go along this way, you're fanatical. And we're trying to make the Holy Ghost like we are. Cold, dead, twice dead, plucked up by the root. But I'm here to tell you there's a drunkenness. Peter said, we're not drunk as ye suppose. You know, I have a problem. I have a problem trying to understand some of these folks that say they're filled. Now, Henton, you're judging. No, I'm not judging. I'm fruit inspecting. And by their fruits you will know them. And a tree is known by the fruit it bears. And you know, I can remember when folks would get filled years ago, it was such a power on them till they staggered. Sometimes the saints had to carry them home and undress them and get them ready for bed. They were still under the power and couldn't eat for 3 days. And now these folks will get filled tonight. And 15 minutes after they get filled, they popping gum, saying, where y'all going tonight? I ain't talking to you, I'm talking to her. It ain't your business. Honey, didn't you just get filled? Precisely. You don't like it? I'm afraid something is wrong. How can you get so much Holy Ghost and come up 15 minutes later acting like you had never even heard whether that be a Holy Ghost? You see, we've got to get filled in depth. There's one baptism, but there are many refillings. The early church in the 4th chapter of Acts, they got together and just left Pentecost and said, why do the heathens rage? And why do the people imagine a vain thing? Lord, behold the enemy's threatenings, and grant us boldness to preach your word by stretching forth your hands to heal, working signs and wonders, and let miracles be wrought in the name of your holy child Jesus. And the Bible said, while they spake, the Holy Ghost fell, and they were filled again. They had already been filled, but they were filled again. Nothing wrong in being filled again. You've come to Azusa to be filled again. It don't mean I haven't been filled, but I just want to